Okay, guys, I think we're live.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I will start about what is Habitat for Humanity. So we learned that Habitat is a global organization that works to help build homes and give everyone a home. That's like their main mission, to provide affordable housing for people. Their vision is a world where everyone has a decent place to live. The history of it, so it was developed in 1942 by a couple in Georgia, and they developed this as a concept of partnership housing, and they really wanted to focus on families in need of an affordable home and a decent home, so somewhere that's adequate for them to live. In 1976 is when they provided global efforts, so when they went over and started this in a different country. And today it serves in over 70 countries, and it works in 1,400 communities in the U.S., which I was surprised by. So as I didn't know this before starting the project, in the greater Des Moines, they have 3 different programs. They have the Rock the Block, which is what we did, and that's just assisting low-income homeowners with repairs and maintenance of their home to make it accessible and beautify it again. They also do new construction, so they build it, a brand new house for people, like again, low-income families. And then the Restore, which is just a home improvement store where you can buy gently used furniture, appliances at affordable pricing. So kind of gives everyone.
Yep, it's not restricted to anybody. That's a place that anyone in the community can go to.
I've actually bought rugs there before.
Yeah,
so so we learned that their mission statement is seeking to put God's love into action. So Habitat for Humanity brings people together to build homes, community, and hope. And then their 5 principles are demonstrate the love of Jesus Christ, focus on shelter, advocate for affordable housing, promote dignity and hope, and then support sustainable and transformative development. So they're all about providing homes.
And I remember that with the whole Jesus Christ and the God's love and being a Christian organization, do you guys remember how they incorporated a prayer like the very first time?
Oh, yeah.
That was interesting. They really do follow the mission you just described.
Yeah, definitely. So social issues that I thought that Habitat for Humanity addressed is just the focusing on restoring homes for the low-income families that are in need and don't have the means to do it themselves. It allows family to ensure that they do have adequate housing by fixing any issues in their current homes. By doing this, it prevents them from losing their homes, not being able to live in like a safe home, safe environment, and ideally it prevents them from becoming homeless, so allows them to stay in their homes. And then I also thought that restoring all the homes, we did a lot of outside stuff, so it brings those communities like back to life and kind of makes people want to come live in that community that some people may think of it as a rough neighborhood or so. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so nature of the project, you kind of touched on this a little bit too, Stephanie, but it's complete home repair, including weatherization, beautification, maintenance, or accessibility. So by accessibility, allowing somebody that maybe is physically handicapped in some way, like by building a ramp or just maintenance on current ramps and stuff like that, so that they can get in and out of their home and they can function in a daily environment. And as we already mentioned, they provide to qualifying low-income families. It is an application process, so whether it's new home construction or the Rock the Block projects, they do have to go through an application process. And I do remember one of the gals saying that it has to be the homeowner themselves. So if I have a neighbor or something that I think could benefit from it, but the homeowner is required to do the application. And part of that is because they are required to give back some way to Habitat. And if I'm remembering correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but that even if they can't provide like physical service and physical volunteer hours, they could help by some other kind of donation. They could make cookies for like the volunteers and items like that. So it's provided to needed neighborhoods in Polk County, and then also in this area, also Dallas County. So it kind of extends out of just our immediate area here locally. And the repairs can be exterior or interior repairs. I think, and we'll talk about it here in a little bit, but our last home prior to us getting there, if I remember right, they said they had gone in, I don't know if it was the day before or during that week, but they'd gone in sometime relatively close to that and done some inside repairs and repaired their appliances for new ones and swapped those out for energy efficient items. So that was interesting. Otherwise, you know, our experience was exterior.
Yeah.
Examples of repairs.
You guys.
Yeah. Oh, no,
do you remember them saying too, besides like the volunteers coming in, they would also sometimes have third parties come in for projects that they couldn't complete or they didn't feel comfortable completing on their own as well. So
yeah, that's a really good point, Haley. Yeah, I think they mentioned like gutters was one of those things.
Yeah.
Good memory, yes. Examples of repairs include roof and porch repairs, siding and painting, landscaping, energy efficiency installation. And that was just really for the nature of Rock the Block. I mean, you guys talked about new construction. I think we all kind of know what that would entail, and then the restore. But this was specifically the program we did, Rock the Block. Well, moving on a little bit here about the project itself. They do have full-time Habitat workers, and you know, it's hard to gauge of who exactly was full-time. I think they have a few people within each program area that are full-time, and then obviously some office staff when we went into the office there on the second day. Otherwise, a lot of their workers were within AmeriCorps. And I remember reading that when we did a lot of research about Habitat, I guess I didn't really have an understanding of, you know, who these people were, how they related to Habitat. But they're also involved every day, every project, it seemed like. The workers help prepare the location with the tools that we need, and they're each divided up. So each project is allotted like so many tools that are, I guess you would call prepackaged. You know, anything from screws and nails to rakes and shovels and all of that. There's dumpsters. They had porta potties. So anything the project's going to need, they would prepare that and have it there at the site, ready to go or coming at the start of the shift. The small group, so initially, like our first day, it was one large, very large volunteer group session that day, and they broke us up into smaller groups for each project that was designated for the day. It seems like that kind of varies. I think you guys can remember and see that too, where the second day was just kind of like not so many of us, so we were just kind of go where they need us.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The team lead, which both days sounded like it was an AmeriCorps individual, were providing guidance throughout the whole project. They pretty much were our eyes and our ears and our knowledge base, since you know, we weren't familiar with all those types of projects. And they would communicate all the time consistently with, I guess you would say, like a main construction person. I guess I'm not sure quite what their role is, other than just kind of overseeing the project as a whole. And obviously all of the projects in nature had to be a teamwork approach. You know, this organization wouldn't function without teamwork. So let's see. looks like we have a couple of pictures here on our slides of us. I think that was before we were all sweaty. So day one of our project, and you guys chime in at any time because you guys can help me out with it. It was located on East 9th Street, so it wasn't too far from, is that Roosevelt High School? Is that right?
No, it's East.
East
East, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't far from East High School. In fact, that's kind of, where we met for the day.
Yeah.
We went back and had lunch and things. So initially, you can see in the picture here, we were painting, and that red paint is, what we were doing. It was white before. We had to remove the old fascia and replace the new garage.
Yeah.
And on the new.
No idea what fascia was until I started anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't either. I'm sorry, just a second. Caitlin, come on, me on a thing. I need you to go, okay? No, I need to go. I'm so sorry, you guys. So, yeah, removing that board, I think we can all attest that was a huge challenge.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take us? Like an hour, I feel like?
Yeah.
It took the majority of the morning.
Yeah.
We had no idea how to rip it off. And,
No.
you were trying to, not damage the roof because obviously you didn't want to. Hi.
Hi there.
Stuff. So anyways, please don't, Caitlin. I'm so sorry. So anyways, we had to, our main job as us three, we're replacing that. And then I guess once we got that done, they helped us measure correctly, get the new piece installed. I know, Haley, that was one of your first times using, or the first time using a circular saw.
Yeah.
That was.
Yep. Yeah.
You did it pretty well.
I did a little bit.
You did well.
More practice before I use one again. So.
And then I guess all three of us focused on painting the garage. Obviously, the homeowner chose her own paint and what she wanted. So we were painting it red and it was white trim. The other portion of our group, they were helping clean up with a lot of the landscaping and things and taking down the fence. So we kind of had multiple projects going at once. And so that was removing the chain link fence around the property and removing the overgrown weeds, trees, and just debris that were in the back of the property. So that was our first.
It was amazing after they had gotten through even half of that backyard, how much it opened it up and
yeah,
the complete difference in how it looked as well.
Yeah, and getting that tree branch down and stuff, it made such a difference.
Gosh, yeah.
I wish we could have been there to see the homeowner's reaction.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so moving on to our day two. So I guess, just so Dr. Joe knows, we did this, back-to-back weeks. So the first week was day one, the second week was day two. And that was located right on East 14th Street, which was a very busy street, kind of had a lot going on. They had already been working on that project. It seemed like a minimum of one day, and it might have been a couple of days. It sounded like prior to that. And like I had mentioned, the homeowner had the handicap ramp installed as well, and then the new energy efficiency appliances there. That homeowner was there. We did not get the chance to meet him. He just, was in his home the whole time. It was really hot that day, so I didn't necessarily expect him to come out much. We installed, this was a very big learning experience. I've never installed a door before, and
Nope.
We did that. So we installed the front door, and I guess the whole casing, we had to remove the old door. And this door, I wish I would have gotten a picture before we took it down, because it was an old wooden door and you could tell how much water had leaked in. It was rotting.
Yeah.
They had a cloth over it to help keep out, the wind, the weather. And literally it was junk. I don't even know how they would have kept out hot and cold air. So it was really nice to see that they're going to get this new door, help their home be more energy efficient. So we took that whole thing out, and then we had to put I think it's called a door casing in, and the hardware. And we worked with a gentleman that I think works with Habitat frequently, it sounds like, doing rock the block as well as new construction. And that was really challenging because I mean, we're just not efficient at that, since that's not our area of expertise.
That's something we do regularly.
Right. And so it took a lot of troubleshooting. I think, what did we do? Put that door in probably 10 times before we got it to fit correctly. Yeah. Yeah. And then we installed the hardware on it, and it sounds like they were preparing for a storm door to go on the outside as well, but that was not there that day, so we didn't get to do that. From there, we pretty much painted the newly installed siding. And that project seemed like it was going to take a while. They were kind of running into a few complications, some of the other AmeriCorps volunteers, with some of the siding and nailing and trying to get those nails out and things. So it sounded like they were going to be there for a while, because at the end of that shift, the house wasn't done. So we didn't get to see the end of it, which is, too bad. It's nice to kind of see when things are wrapped up. So moving on here, contribution to the mission for Habitat of Humanity. So we provided manpower and teamwork to revitalize these homes, and then serving others through our projects. So, just through our work, we were serving others, making for a better community, allowing these individuals to stay in their homes, and providing positive approach. So I guess the biggest thing, and you guys know this, like, I feel like there's no way we could have accomplished, or anybody could accomplish those tasks without just having a really positive attitude about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And then you run into and you run into different complications just along the way, where you have to troubleshoot. Maybe you don't know, but maybe you have to get somebody that does. So you just have to have a positive approach about it. We exemplified leadership, just, going out there on our own, being willing to serve the community members, and taking it back to what we're doing now and sharing. Learning new skills, we kind of talked about that, how, some of those tools we've never used, the circular saw. I can't tell you the last time I've measured it. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I've measured and got a board. Like, I just don't do that on a regular basis. So selfless service, obviously we didn't go into this thinking we were really going to get, obviously we get something from it, but it's not for us. Like, the end goal, nothing about that was for us. It was about these people and making it better for them. So it's a selfless service. Educating others regarding the organization. So I think we've accomplished this. I hear each one of you say, I talked to my family member, I talked to my friend, my boyfriend, my husband, whoever, about it. We're talking today about it and sharing it. So once you get the word out, that's only more potential volunteers that could assist.
Yeah.
Encouraging others to become involved. So same thing here. It's like we're talking about it, whether somebody wants to donate goods to the restore, whether they want to do Rock the Block, just being aware that the organization is there and how we can further get the word out. So let's see here. So our project synopsis. I feel like some of this is a little redundant, but I guess it's good to talk about still. But excellent teamwork with reliable members. I think that's like huge, because when you're working in a team, you need everybody. Yeah, you have to work well. You need everybody to contribute. And, I've told you guys this before, but I feel like we worked really well with each other. Everybody engaged, and just were able to kind of bounce off positive things. Everyone contributed, like we said. We learned new skills. We talked about that already. It was a comfortable environment. Like, I didn't know what to think going into it. You know, I didn't know if I was going to be working with, you know, some person that has been on construction forever. And then here I am coming in knowing very little. And, you know, that's kind of maybe almost a little nerve wracking because, like, what if I do it wrong? What if I don't know how to do it?
Yeah.
What can I do? But I'm still here to help. And it wasn't that way at all. It was just like everybody was come in, join. You know, if you don't know, feel free to speak up and ask. Like, it was very informal. I mean, I don't think you guys felt uncomfortable at all asking if you needed help. So
no, and that was the nice thing is that a lot of the project leaders, like you said, Sarah, made it, they're like, do not be afraid to ask. We would rather have you ask than be doing something that you're feeling uncomfortable doing. So
yeah, very good point. The homeowners were very gracious. Like we mentioned, we met that first homeowner right when we started. And I mean, she individually walked around to each of us and thanked us and just seemed so gracious that we were there for the day. You know, I think she was probably actually headed off to work, it seemed. And these people really, they've submitted the application on their own. They want this to happen. So they just feel really appreciative for the service. Community networking. Obviously, we were able to work with many other individuals. We learned what AmeriCorps is, worked with numerous of those individuals. And then the first day, it was actually a group with us as well of 4 other ladies. And if I'm remembering that right, they worked for, I think, a financial business type company in Des Moines. And it was kind of, sounds like something they do every year. So we kind of got to chat with them. Let's see. So feelings of accomplishment and giving back is always a rewarding feeling when you know you've helped somebody with something, and just that sense of accomplishment, I guess. Hard work and perseverance. We all put in hard work. And, you know, I think maybe I underestimated going into it. You know, I was thinking revitalization, landscaping, maybe we're raking, painting. You know, that's not too bad, you know. And,
Yeah.
but some of that stuff was hard work. I mean, so, but it was good.
I'm glad we didn't have to rip all those weeds out.
Right.
That would have been hard.
Yeah. So challenges, organization of the project. And for the most part, I think it was really well organized. The second day was a little harder. And I think that's maybe because it seemed like a kind of a hodgepodge of people that they just kind of created a group with. It wasn't like really planned out, and that's okay, that happens. But it seemed like waste anybody's time by, like, you know, waiting for a project to do, you know. So I really wanted to get in there, but it kind of seemed like they just needed on that second day to have a little more organization. Okay, let's focus on this first, then we're going to do this. But it's fine, everybody got to roll with the punches, and you know, we got our stuff done. Knowledge of skills. I guess that's just, you know, overcoming the challenge. We don't know this, so we need to learn, and we were able to do it. Heat, it was really hot.
To say the least.
Yeah, I think we probably wrote this in our paper, but so you guys know, and it was like upper 90s both days and heat indexes of like 100 or over 100. So we definitely, yeah, we overcame that, but not being able, yeah, and then I've already mentioned, but not being able to see their project 100% complete. And, you know, part of me almost wants to, especially on East 14th, it's very accessible. I kind of want to just drive by and, like, look at it.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess that was, I think there was something else I was going to mention, but I don't quite remember at this point. So I think that kind of wraps it up for our actual project. So I'll turn it over to you, Haley.
Okay. Just kind of expanding on challenges that kind of leads into directions for future work and possible or potential future groups that decide to work with Habitat for Humanity and Rock the Block. Just touching on direction again, which in regards to projects and expectations, kind of laying that out before even getting started with the day, which I feel like there was some of that, but it could have been expanded a little bit more, just so kind of everybody knew what they were supposed to be doing. It would just help in aiding to complete the projects in a timely manner. I kind of noticed, I feel like if we would have had more of that direction, we possibly could have seen completion of one or both of the homes, most likely the first home. And that kind of leads into organization as well. Teams with specific tasks, which definitely the first day, I feel like that happened more so than the second day. We kind of split off into our own groups. We tackled the garage and painting, while the other group worked more so on the backyard, and we had some people trying to work on that chain link fence as well. Leadership, I feel like, is extremely important in regards to completing the project successfully. I feel like we all, maybe with the lack of some direction, we were able to take leadership into all of our own hands, and kind of guide what we were supposed to do for that day. And then a game plan, I feel like that's really important. It kind of touches on each thing that I've already talked about, but implementing a game plan can allow for good time management and, again, just completing those projects in a timely manner. Okay, moving on to the next slide. We just kind of posted for future work and recommendations. We had a couple YouTube videos, as well as the overview of the project as well. So I think we can probably go into what we gained from this experience individually and then as a team.
Yeah.
For myself, I think this is going to be the same for both you, Sarah, and Stephanie, but just kind of having an eye-opening experience. And you don't think about these things on a daily basis until you are actually in it and experiencing it. And for me, it just kind of opened up more opportunities, or to try and seek out more opportunities to build on my servant leadership skills that I've already learned this semester. So
yeah, I can definitely agree. It was eye-opening, and as you guys know, I went to high school in East, so I grew up on that side of going to school on that side of town, and I knew that side of town was a little bit, rougher, but it kind of gives you a good look at the community needs, like how someone, just down the block from where I went to school every day for 4 years, needs help. So, I mean, it's not like you really have to search, because if you want to give back, there's always someone close by that needs help. So, yeah, just definitely eye-opening.
I guess, obviously I would agree with both of you, for me as well. But I guess something else I realized is that just, I grew up in a small town. It was very close-knit and very community-oriented. People just really helped, went out of their way without even being requested. And so I feel like sometimes in a larger town, you don't have that complete sense of community. You can get there within, I guess, the neighborhoods. And for me, it kind of reminded me of that and made me realize that, yes, within Des Moines, you do have these close-knit community groups and people that are still wanting to give back. And just how many more people can be involved in a project and make it so much more beneficial for the community. When you just spread the word about such a great organization. So I guess I just, it really reiterated to me that sense of accomplishment and community, and, made me want to continue my volunteering and service skills. So.
And I think that it goes right into, as a group, what we think, all of those ideas coming together.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've already said, our group worked extremely well together, and I think that helped even more figuring out the servant leadership qualities in each other, which I really enjoyed. So
yeah,
I did too. Great job, guys.
Yeah, good job.
So I think,
all right, did we get everything?
I think we got everything, so I think that wraps it up.
Okay.
Great semester. It's been so nice working with you guys.
Yeah, it's been nice.
It
We're
Yeah.
almost done with the whole.
I know. Okay, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Good luck studying this weekend. Bye.
Yes.